This show started because the conversation off the air was getting really weird.
Bizarre.
910 Big 550 KTRS. Are you going to curse again? Are you going to bring the FCC in on all
No.
this?
And I won't even quote somebody who cursed.
You know your mother listens to this show.
She does.
Yes, she does. 910 Big 550 KTRS. That's Jane Duker. She's Speaker of her House because her husband can't get a word in edgewise. Former Chief of Staff to Governor Holden and local attorney here. Good morning, Jane Duker.
Good morning, McGraw.
He is the Speaker in waiting of his House, the House Majority Leader right now, John Deal. John, thanks for coming in.
Hey, good morning, McGraw.
And Jay Kanzler, who is a local gadfly attorney here in town, all-around good guy, filling in for Tony Messenger, who claimed he has a day job that he's got to go to, so he couldn't come in today. So, Jay Kanzler, thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you, and I'm glad I don't have a day job.
Let's get to it. Jane Duker, there's a bit of a controversy about the Taste of St. Louis leaving and going to Chesterfield, the Blues Festival going to Chesterfield, and the city now in some type of negotiation for some long-term contracts for a contract series. Who thought this would be such a controversy?
Well, yeah, it was interesting because as soon as it came out, because I'm a resident of Chesterfield, and the Twitterverse kind of went a little bonsai and was like, sort of all this, hatred about the fact that the Taste of St. Louis was moving to Chesterfield. And I was really surprised because, here we are, and especially the city has been talking about regionalism, unification.
Right.
Should we re-enter? But then the first sign that, that something might be moving to the county, boy, everybody just goes back to their corner and says, this is terrible. You're giving up on the city, and in Chesterfield is awful.
Yes.
And nobody now. So what you get is the city residents don't want to go past 270, but they don't understand why county residents wouldn't want to come downtown.
People criticize those of us who live in St. Charles, Chesterfield.
Right.
We don't like to go downtown. You're afraid of crime. You don't like to leave 270.
Exactly. And
Right.
so, I thought the whole point of this discussion that we are having about, reentry or unification or, whatever it is, or even if nothing more, just regionalism. I mean, it was an amazing social experiment. And I did get in sort of Twitter battles with a couple of people who finally sort of admitted that, yeah, we're being a little parochial here. But it was interesting that their first reaction was, oh my gosh, Chesterfield's awful. Now, if anybody in Chesterfield had ever said that about the city, there would have been outrage beyond comprehension. And, to me, it goes both ways. And so, yeah, you need to come out past 270, and, hopefully people in West County and, for far West County will go downtown. That's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, did it make room for something else to happen in the city?
Well, that's the bigger issue. The bigger issue,
Right.
did the city kick them out for these other two?
And I don't know that, that there's any evidence one way or another, but, and I was a little surprised even by the city's reaction, the spokesperson for the mayor and, basically saying, oh, well, we don't care because we got so many events. And it wasn't a situation where we say, look, we're all one big city.
Are you talking about Rainford?
No, I was talking about Maggie Crane.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, well, why wouldn't they just come up and say, look, we're all one region. This doesn't matter. We're going to all
Right.
go get more events. Let's net more events for the region as opposed to, oh, well, we're okay if that leaves and goes to Chesterfield.
20-year contract, Jay Hansler. Good idea, bad idea?
Well, to put a little context into it, what the city of St. Louis is considering right now is entering into a contract with an entertainment group out of L.A. To put on concerts for 20 years on the Gateway Mall downtown. Now, which on its face sounds like a good thing. Anytime something is brought to the city, the region, events, that's a good thing. The problem with this particular proposal is that part of the contract is a non-compete. The city cannot put on other similar events or even dissimilar events, but musical events, concert events, festival events on the Gateway Mall from May through September of each year. So really the only thing that's going to happen, and again, there's some exceptions, and
Sure.
I listened to Antonio French explain kind of the thing very nicely, but that's the problem I have. So for 20 years, we've given exclusive control of the Gateway Mall to this outfit from L.A., and nobody else gets to try their luck at a concert, at a festival, at other things, because we've already given that right away.
Yeah. John
Well,
Deere?
the most shocking thing to me was Jane saying she got in a Twitter battle with somebody.
I know, yeah. Yeah, I know you're shocked by
gosh,
that.
I'm shocked, Jane.
I
That
know.
would actually happen.
Freedom.
So, no,
Right.
look, we're one region. I think the more things that we can make happen across the whole way, the better. Chesterfield and Clayton are probably the economic anchors of St. Louis County.
Right.
And obviously downtown is the economic anchor of the city of St. Louis. And it's all along one highway corridor. And I think the more stuff we can get with the higher participation, probably the festival decided they would get better attendance out in Chesterfield.
I mean,
than
there
they
was a
did
reason they made the
downtown.
decision. Right.
So the more people that can come out and do that kind of stuff, the better. There's probably no non-compete. So if someone wants to do another Taste of Soulard or Taste of St. Louis downtown outside of that organization, there's a market for it. Let it happen.
And maybe we draw people from St. Charles, which is good. I mean, that's part of the point.
But they won't
And-
cross over the river.
Oh, right, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
because we're going to get
So-
all
But here,
parochial again.
one of the issues that I have with the kind of the concept of the regionalization and the combination of the two entities is the argument that St. Louis is that area downtown and that we should become one region. So it's almost like county, come join us. We're St. Louis.
Right.
You can be a part of us, as opposed to St. Louis also is Chesterfield and St. Charles. And again,
Louis County.
Yeah, St. Louis County. Why don't you come out and join us? It's always when we get to these things about parks and entertainment and about all this, it's join us, come to us.
Right,
and
it goes
not the
one
other
way.
Right.
One way.
It's a great point.
And I live right on 270. I can see 270 from my house. So
Not Russia.
So
Not Russia, though.
So I'm not quite
You and
sure
Sarah
which way
Palin.
to go.
Right.
So I'm okay with Chester. I'm just as close to
Right, you're right
to
there.
the valley as I am to downtown. So it's
But
pretty
let
much-
me stand up for the city here for a second with this 20-year contract. You know, and I asked Antonio French this question. Lollapalooza, Lilith Fair brings in ridiculous amounts of people to Chicago. The New Orleans Jazz Festival, the Newport Jazz Festival. Some of these things are great, giant venues. Bonnaroo is huge every year. If someone's going to invest in bringing in huge, real, big-name artists to attract big crowds, you're going to need to cut a deal with them so that they can let it grow over 20 years. So they're going to need some type of non-compete clause.
And
No, I don't
think
think that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
I think that's probably the key to this, and the question I have, which has not been unanswered, is what type of investment
Are they
is
making?
this entity making? Are they just using public grounds that the public has paid for, in which case I tend to agree with Jay that it ought to be open to more stuff. But if they're making a substantial investment in the facilities or in the promotion and there's performance, I could see where there'd be some protection. 20 years strikes me as a little long for something like that. I think you could work that on a 5 or 6 or 10-year basis. But it's all about what investment's being made.
Well, and will it be called, St. Louis Fest, or will it be called St. Louis City Fest? I mean, there were a lot of people who said that, the county can't be called St. Louis. So do we need to
How
come
about
up with
St.
different
Lula?
terms?
How about St. Lula Palazzo?
Why not? Why not bring in? Here's my problem with it, McGraw. Is why not? I would love to see something like that happen. Why not send our folks at the Visitors Convention Bureau, all those other people that take money and go out and try to promote it?
That was snarky, by the way.
and say, we would like to put on an event like that. We are taking requests for proposals. We are inviting you to come in and tell us what you can do. Not just have one person come in and lay a contract down and say, you know what, for 20 years.
Absolutely agree.
And you know what? We've combined the economic development agencies of the city and the county into the St. Louis Partnership. And that entity, I mean, this is an enormous event by all accounts. So again, why isn't regionalism being used in that context where they go to the St. Louis Partnership and say, yeah, put out an RFP. Is this good for the region? I mean, when it's convenient, there's combination. When it's not convenient, it's not.
Well, what about Lou Fest at the in St. Louis in Forest Park? Don't look now, but Lou Fest is growing by leaps and bounds, and they're going to bring in this thing to start this. We've already started a giant music festival with Lou Fest,
and without a 20-year non-compete. I bet.
Yeah, exactly, and it's sort of grown naturally.
Right.
So. Lots of interesting things. All right, that's Jane Duker. That's John Deal. That's Jay Kanzler. We'll come back. Lots more to get to. This oral chemo bill that passed this week down in Jefferson City, kind of a big deal, and one of the big deals is in the room. We'll ask him about it coming up next in the Big 550.